it must have been within feet of where Harold Reed had just ridden with his horse. And Harold come out of there because he hadn't been the one that shot the deer. And he was so mad, he got off his horse and threw down his hat and just started stomping it like, what in the dickens, where is that deer? And Nat's always getting them. So from then on, that hill was called Hat Stomp Hill.
And about what year was that? Because I remember going deer hunting when Grandpa was still alive, and all his friends, they was always referred to as we're going to go over to Hat Stomp Hill. That was a geographical location for defining where the hunt was going to be.
Well, Hat Stomp Hill, and the old Rock Corral, and the old Rock House, and let's see, we had names for all of them because they were all connected with people of the hunt.
Now, tell the story
There was
about
Old Blue Mountain and Mare Mountain, a whole bunch of funny places.
Tell us about the horse, Ned Daly's horse that rolled over on Grandpa.
Well, while I was on my mission, Dad and them had gone out hunting, and Dad had ridden the horse Ned called Pete, and apparently they got up in the morning. Dad got on the horse and they started up the side of the hill, and the horse foundered and rolled. And fell down and rolled over, and of course Dad's rifle is stuck in the scabbard on it, and it's a pretty nice rifle. And Dad gets off, but the horse apparently rolled over him, and from what I heard, the saddle horn went right into his belly. And it was a full roll, so my dad could have been dead. When he could get his breath, he hollered, I think, Bill, or somebody, get my rifle, get my rifle. And Bill went to get his rifle to save it, from the tumbling horse. But Ned Daling's telling him in all kinds of cuss words, don't get him in that rifle, he'll shoot my horse. My dad would have.
He was ready to kill him right there on the spot. And then they had that saddle, was it a saddle or the gun scabbard he put? They had it made with good old people.
Yeah, one of my friends that was in the prison was good at making leathers, and they made him a scabbard that said a little Pete on it, things like that.
But the rest of the story is what? That he said he'd shoot that horse when he recovered.
But apparently he sat there for another day or two and got better. He didn't go in, which was interesting to me. And they weren't sure. They just let him work it out.
He swore to never ride that horse again.
He swore he wouldn't.
But he did, didn't he?
Ned said he
different name.
And he wrote him the next year, but he called him a different name. And my dad swore that wasn't true, and I don't know. Ned always named his horses different names than what he called them on his ranch.
He furnished the horses for everybody, I think.
Well, some of them he named them after, just interesting.
They're named after women in the town.
Yeah, named after women in the town. But that was, each year they'd have a different set of names for the horses.
How about Grandma? What about Grandma?
Well, Grandma, every year the Relief Society had to put on Spanish dinners to make money. That was back when the Relief Society had to make their own money. The young women had to make their own money. Everybody had to make their own money. Now it's correlated and it comes through the priesthood. But she always was noted for her enchilada sauce. And you didn't have good Spanish food unless you had Ileen's enchilada sauce.
And it actually was not Grandma's recipe. It's Mel Lewis's recipe. Because I asked Mother about that. Melza made it for the first couple of them, and then Mother started making it after that.
Yeah.
So she was always cooking when we came for Christmas.
She would cook for a week before.
She
all the time.
cooked for a week before she started. She always made green corn tamales, so when we got there we had green corn tamales and cheese sauce.
And she always had jello salads or fruit salad, and she had 2 fridges, one outside in the storeroom, and then she just filled that up, so she didn't have to cook all the time when everybody was there.
One of the things I noticed from Grandma was her complete devotion to following the leaders. Now, she was raised as a teenager down on the Indian reservation. And when she got old enough to get into a better part of high school, that's when she moved up to Thatcher and lived with Aunt Lavona and Uncle Glenn. Pima, and then she went to school there.
While she was there, she was elected the first girl president
Student body president.
All right.
of student body president.
But she didn't get to serve because the next year she moved up to live with Aunt Lavona and Thatcher.
So she
just
didn't
read
get to
that
serve as student body president.
But I know, the one year Aunt Lavona was the Stake Relief Society president. She was the Relief Society president. Her ward, and Aunt Lillian was the Relief Society president. Her ward, all in the same stake. And so they were faithful people. And my mother served as Relief Society president for 13 or so years, and so did Aunt Lavona serve
And
that.
they were in the Stake Relief Society, the stake primary relief presidency too.
Yeah.
Mama was the primary president. She was the president of something all the time I was growing up.
And I remember as a teenager being home one day, and Mom drove up. We always parked one car out in front of the house, and she just generally she'd get up and come into the house. But we watched very carefully because we were supposed to be practicing the piano.
Start it.
We only watched when you got
So
there.
when she came, she didn't immediately come in. So I went, well, I'm going to have to practice the piano too long if she didn't come in to sit here. Well, she didn't come in, and I went out, and I looked in the car, and I could see her there crying. And that was unusual for me. And I opened up the door, and I said, Mom, what's wrong? And she had just come from a Stake Relief Society meeting where she was a counselor.
Yeah.
And she felt very bad because the Stake Relief Society president was a good orator. She could speak really well and so forth. And but Mom characterized as not very well organized. And Mom said to me, I guess the reason I'm called is because I can organize things. And she did. Whenever there was an event, she could take care of all the details and it would come off perfectly. The Stake Relief Society president, we did all the accolades for how it happened.
And how they made their money to go to Salt Lake was through these Spanish dinners, again on the stake. And she would put it all together and help make. It was through her that they made the money.
But she was faithful and never. That's the only thing I ever heard her ever say about how tedious it was to work with another person.
Well, what happened?
Told me how faithful she was.
What happened was when they got ready to go take their trip to Salt Lake, the stake presidency used to always go to Salt Lake. But Aunt Lillian and them were going to go, and so she wanted to ride up with them. And she felt that she should help pay for the gas. And that's what this money was to go for. But she was told no, because she wasn't riding with the group. She couldn't have any of the money. And she was the one that put it all together to make the money. And she felt bad.
But they had bazaars with the Mexican food, and the women on work day, they would quilt quilts and crochet and embroidery pillowcases, and then they'd sell these items. And they remodeled their Relief Society hall and put all new carpet and curtains and new chairs, all with the money that they would make from these bazaars. Mother was so well organized that when she built her new home, she had it planned for years. And there was a drawer or a cupboard for everything that she put in that house. And if you people that remember going in her home, the thing that fascinated me, she had her big standing mixer. Well, it was down in a drawer and it had springs on it, and she could just bring it right up, click it at counter level, mix everything up, clean it off, and put it down, close the door. And that way, all of her drawers were like that.
Well, I remember how, I mean, being an adult now and looking back, how ingenious it was where she had her cereal and toaster
Yes.
right there
By
where
the
we're
table.
all eating.
Yeah.
But she thought about all these things before she had that house built. I mean, every pan, she even measured the size of her, the height of her pan, so this shelf would be this far apart, this shelf would be this far apart. And then she said to us girls that she didn't want Daddy to know that she overbuilt on cupboards. So in some cupboards she put cans that really didn't have food in them, so Daddy would think that they were.
Funny.
And they used to sell the temple clothing when they were Stake Relief Society president. So she had all these cupboards in the hallway and in the front bedroom to house, to keep all of the garments and the temple clothing there. And people would come and buy their clothing from them. And so she had to have cupboards for everything.
That, she became the Stake Relief Society president after she had cancer.
Wow.
The State Relief Society president after cancer?
I didn't know that.
And
She died. How much did she have
She was Stake Relief Society president when she died.
Oh, she was?
yeah. They didn't release her because, you know, she'd been so faithful. And I've got a list of people that sent letters, things. It's almost a full tablet full of names of people.
So I had my kids type up these little histories that we had done when our family was doing our monthly family meetings, and I had them type them up on Family Search this last week. And what was the story about Grandma that you said you wanted to know more about? Or who was it that... One of the stories was Grandma locking Grandpa outside the house when they were dating.
Well, when she was a young girl, she cooked for all of the workers down in San Carlos. Well, when Daddy would go down to visit her, he would want to chase her around the table, and that would make her mad because she's supposed to be cooking.
He'd
And
want
so he'd
to...
lock her out, lock him
And so
outside.
she had to lock him out of the house so she could get the cooking done for the people.
And